Hey guys, Edmund here, and I am with the man, the myth, the legend, Bry.
Thank you for having me.
Everyone's always asking, Edmund, what's a red line? Why do you say run from the red line? We keep calling it a broken model, and I felt like there's nobody better than Bry, someone that's made almost $1 million in a calendar year in a red line, to explain why he left the red line and chose to come to Apricot. Bry, talk to us about the red line and your decision.
All right, well, first off, I'm blessed to be in solar. We all are, right? This is an opportunity like no other. And so coming into solar, you're gonna have a lot of different options and a lot of different companies, a lot of different comp plans. The problem is most of these comp plans are designed and tailored around leadership keeping their money and empowering the producers, not the builders, the producers, to make the real money. And the reason why that seems enticing at first is because we're like, well, I'm gonna be a producer. Like, I wanna go out there, I'll work, I'll get the job done. You show me how to make $1 million, so shoot, $500,000, right? In solar, I'll do whatever you tell me to do. I'll sell every day, I'll build a team, I'll recruit people, I'll, give them the shirt off my back, right? I'll pay for their flights, their hotels, their housing, all of it. The problem is one day you're gonna put your hat down and say, I don't wanna do this anymore. I want something better. And so what are you gonna do? You're gonna look up and say, how did you get there? How did you get to the top? How did you get to VP or whatever position you're in? How do I get there? Now, I guarantee you what they had to do and what they're gonna ask you to do to get there is gonna be some astronomical number they never had to achieve. Why? Because they were there first. You understand? And that's the biggest problem to me with the red line. The red line is not a compensation plan. It's not a compensation model. It's a Band-Aid added to an industry by the installers to incentivize the production and the producers. And so when you feed down instead of feeding up, there's no upward mobility. I made a ton of money in solar, but my usefulness was production every day and taking people out there with me and showing them how to win. Anyone that knows me, anyone that's worked with me in the industry knows that I'm a builder, but more importantly, I do what I ask you to do. If I ask you to do it, I've done it before. And so I had gotten to a point where I wanted to take the production hat off. I wanted to put it down and spend some time enjoying the fruits of my labor. Well, guess what? That's when I became useless. That's when my guys started to say, well, what do I need Bry for anymore, right? That's when the leadership above me said, what do we need Bry for anymore? And so eventually you just get squeezed out because you're not gonna produce anymore, right? You don't want to, you wanna build now, you wanna be an owner, right? Well, guess what? You're not gonna be an owner, right? Because there's someone who owns that company already. They're not just gonna hand over the keys to the castle. So then you quit, you leave. It always ends ugly, trust me, okay? And if it doesn't end ugly, it's probably because you weren't producing enough for it to matter, okay? And then you get to the next place where I'm gonna start my own solar company. That in and of itself, when you go from producer to builder to owner, you're talking about 5 to 10 years and $1 million to $3 million of personal investment it's gonna take to start your own solar company successfully. Well, I already own my own solar company. No, you don't. You own a Redline company and you're working on a Redline for some other company who owns it. You're not an owner, right? And that's why I think it's different in Apricot. I was here for literally 6 months before I hit the same income level, but without having to produce a single personal account. Now I get to enable, help, and bless other people to hit those numbers. And the more people I bless and the more people I help hit their goals, the more money I make. It's the biggest blessing in my life. I will make $1 million a year, $2 million a year, 5, and then one day $10 million a year at Apricot. And I guarantee you, within the next 12 months, I won't even have the time to go out there and produce personal anymore. And that's the reason you should run. You should be in our DMs right now. If you're not there yet, my phone should be blowing up and Desmond should too, because we can show you the way to out-earn me, to out-earn him. You understand? And we will happily show you how to get there.
And Bry's an absolute beast. He was able to make tons of money off his personal production in a Redline model. but it's not sustainable, right? I mean, what did that year look like? How often did you see your family?
I didn't. I mean, I spent most of my time either in a house, knocking doors, taking appointments, training other people to set appointments, closing their deals, giving up half the income on those deals, hoping they would just continue to feed me the business so I didn't have to keep knocking. It's just this really negative spiral.
It sounds a lot like my first year in solar in 2019.
Yeah.
I had no life. I worked my butt off. The beautiful thing about Apricot is there's light at the end of the tunnel, right? Today, I'm making close to $10,000 a day regularly in overrides. I no longer write a business. And Apricot's attracting incredible leaders that see that as well. I encourage you to look at the industry a little differently, and you'll be able to position yourself and set yourself up for different results. Your regional is never gonna promote you to regional. They might tell you to knock more doors, they might show you how to make $1 million off your own efforts, but they're not gonna help you do it in override.
And I think what actually breaks my heart the most is even if they will promote you to regional, right? You're gonna have to work harder to get there than they did. They're not gonna make it as easy for you as it was for them. The comp plan's gonna keep changing, keep evolving.
Could you also say that it's potentially not what they thought it was?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I made it to regional and then divisional and then vice president of another Redline solar company. And I was super happy until I got there. And when I got there, bringing in, 60, 70, 80, even 100 grand a month, but with the production, it's literally not like I'm paid like a school teacher in comparison to what I should be making, right? And guess who's making all the money? The company at the margins at the top are protected. They're gonna make their stuff, but it's people who are not ever gonna be leaders, but because they're able to produce, they're getting the margin that should be going towards upper mobility and growth. And it kind of breaks your heart because you want that for them. You want them to have a great opportunity. And so then when they want to put that hat down, they just can't do it, right? They can't afford to do it because there's no more room.
I'll leave you guys with this. You've got two guys here. Bry's literally at that 100 grand a month mark in overrides at Apricot. I'm closer to that 300 grand a month mark. I've got a nice head start. This time next year, we will be making 2-3 times the money we're making today.
Oh yeah.
And we both come from two different walks of life. I don't have a door knocking background. Bry is one of the best you'll ever meet. And we're both able to make it to the top of Apricot. Apricot allows for that. There's unlimited upward mobility, and we can get there. I do not believe that I would be a VP today in a legacy type company, starting out as a solar advisor in my Camry with absolutely no door knocking skills whatsoever, right? That's what makes us so much different is here, if you're gonna go in and put in the work day in and day out and go hard in the paint for 1 month, 1 year, 2 years, you're gonna have something to show for it. You have a clear target that you can hit. And once you hit regional, you're not gonna be surprised with a co-regional. You're not gonna be surprised with someone else coming in and taking half your paycheck. It's yours. I truly believe I'm one of the highest paid in the industry today. And it's not because I'm special, it's because I'm part of a much superior model that allows for that. It's because I was blessed and lucky enough to find Apricot and to grow with a company that cares about me and that's structuring an opportunity for us, the distributors, to make that owner dealer money.
Absolutely.
There's only 3 people that ever get paid on a job at Apricot: the solar advisor, the junior partner, and the partner. Any other solar company out there, you have at least 7 people getting paid. Yeah. You have the solar advisor, you have the assistant DM, you have the DM. There's so many DMs in one office, it doesn't make sense to me. District DM, or senior DM, then you have a regional, a co-regional, a VP. That 7-layer dip, it's all the same money in solar, guys. If 10 grand goes here, if 10 grand goes to a legacy type company, or 10 grand goes to Apricot, what does the company do with that money?
Exactly. And I'll kind of lead you down this path. there's nothing wrong with those companies, right? They're great. They're good for the right person. That's why there will be no other Apricot. Companies will try to duplicate us eventually if they're already trying, right? They'll try to be who we are. But to our core, our culture, our partners, we believe in the common growth of the company, and we believe in Apricot. We believe in the comp plan. The people who go elsewhere and try to start or try to duplicate us, they're the type of folks who they're not gonna get it, because they're gonna have to literally, I had to humble myself. I went from literally regional vice president to solar advisor to come work here. I started over. Nobody's gonna do that if they don't have to. You understand? And so that's why people are like, oh, we'll just copy your model if it works so great. Try. I'd love for you to try.
When the leadership's already established, you can't just do that, right? We were lucky enough to be a super small young company. We still are. And it's crazy to see us go from a couple million a month to almost 25 million last month. And you won't see other solar companies do that because the model doesn't allow for that. There isn't upward mobility. So what happens is you start recruiting the bottom every single year because they all quit. Once they realize they can't make Bri money, then they're gonna go shop a better Redline somewhere else, right? Or go start their own solar company. You have 2,000 kids, you have 2,000 young CEOs that are gonna start a solar company next month. What does that mean? They're gonna find an installer, they're gonna negotiate a Redline, and then they're gonna start recruiting people to sell, they should say with them, but they'll say for them, under them, at a lower Redline, right? So, or higher Redline, whatever you wanna call it. It's a broken model. Once, you know, when Bri gets me started in solar and say he's at a 2 Redline and he puts me at a 2.4, once I realize that I'll never be at a 2, right? I'm gonna get jealous. Even if we're best friends, even if he's had me at the family table dinner and he cooks amazing. Like if you guys know Bri, like he cooks, he's an incredible cook. But that's only gonna last so long, you know, until I end up wanting what he has. You know, I wanna drive the Alpina, I wanna have his lifestyle, I wanna live in the house he lives in, and he can't give me that opportunity in that model. Whereas when Bri and I talked day one, it was no surprise to me that Bri would come in and make more money than me. It was no surprise to me that he's been in the industry longer, he's got a larger network, and he has the opportunity to do that at Apricot.
You know, Coach Jimmy, one of our coaches here, and soon to be partners actually, with Apricot, says it best. He says, you're on a journey from A to B. It's the personal development it takes to be ready for leadership. And then there's the journey from B to C, which is the time it takes and the production it takes to get to partner. Well, I challenge you with this. Listen, if you are still in the beginning of your journey, but you think you're a high producer, the Redline model is better for you. You should go work there for a while. Go make a ton of money, put it in your pocket, do your stuff. You're not ready for Apricot, and frankly, we're not ready for you. But when you're tired and you're ready to take that hat off and you want to start over, but you want to do it in a short collapsed time frame, join us. Come here. Once you've gone through that and you've tasted the fruits of those labor and you're tired and you just want to get to a point, you're gonna have to work just as hard, right? If I'm me, I want a collapse time frame now. But some people, you gotta get knocked on the head a couple times. So get a little closer to B, and when you're closer to B, which is personal development ready to become a partner, I'll show you how to get there in 6 months. So,
you know what amazes me, Bri?
What's that?
It's that if right now, you know, just about anyone out there, if I offered them 100 grand up front or a guaranteed 25 grand a month for the rest of their life,
okay,
they would probably take the guaranteed 25 grand a month for the rest of their life. I think. 100 grand, 25. And you know, that's kind of, at Apricot, I've looked at solar. I don't really see anybody living the way I live in solar. I just don't see it, right?
Can't do that on 25 grand a month.
And well, yeah, but I did give up a little bit in the beginning, right? I started out as a solar advisor. Maybe I could have negotiated and started out as a DM and made a couple $1,000 more an install. Who cares, guys? Who cares? Where do you want to be a year from now, 2 years from now? Do you want to stay a DM for the rest of your life? And do you want to suck up to some regional that's never going to promote you to their level? Or do you want to have a level opportunity where you can make the owner dealer money? It's about having vision, sacrificing a little bit in the beginning to have unlimited upward mobility, not only for yourself, but for your business partners, for your teammates. Do you want to work with people long term? Do you want to work with the right people long term? Or do you want to constantly have to recruit and manipulate? Do you understand that in a Redline model, it's not because they're bad people. I believe everyone's good. But in a Redline model, your leadership is literally programmed to lie to you. And then you literally end up doing the same thing that was done onto you. It's super toxic.
Yeah.
It's actually insane. And it breeds all the wrong behaviors.
Exactly.
Because that's what happens when there's jealousy and toxicity. I can't tell you how many stories I've heard of people getting screwed over in that model, and it's because that model cannibalizes itself.
Exactly.
You know, the second Bry stops writing 150 accounts a year, he's no longer that useful to the organization, and he just taught everyone how to write up accounts too, and they all want his Redline. So what are we gonna do? Well, we're gonna cut people in and we're gonna cut people out.
That's right.
How would it feel to give everything you have for years to an organization, blood, sweat, and tears, miss Christmas, miss birthdays, miss weddings, sacrifice time away from family,
children,
go out there and build someone else's company just to literally turn around and get stabbed in the back?
Yeah, don't need you anymore, sorry.
Ouch.
Ouch.
So you guys ultimately will get exactly what you want, but if you decide to open up your mind's like a parachute, it's not gonna work unless it's open. If you decide to think for yourself and to look at the industry a little differently, you know, you have to understand there is a $90,000 watch on my wrist right now that I bought thanks to solar, that I bought thanks to overrides, that I bought thanks to this model. I did not do it by putting up 5 deals at a super high PPW in some Redline model where I'm eye gouging the homeowner and lying to them about how much money they're gonna sell and giving them a 70% offset at 5 PPW. And the guys that do that and show you their big check Fridays, they're still broke because they still have to go do it next week, which is why I literally see a big check Friday every 5 weeks or every quarter. It's literally pathetic. And when you think about how some of that big check Friday goes to paying the setter and to paying this and to maybe paying a marketing campaign for leads, it's not really a big check Friday, which is why I've yet to see a mega multi-million-dollar mansion, which is why I've yet to see a real watch in the whole legacy nation, which is why I'm disgusted that you guys can be that gullible and believe in your leadership that is literally lying to you. You know, when your leadership tells you how I'm a trust fund baby and you believe that, that's on you. You have to understand, I had less money in my bank account in 2018 than you did, and that's a fact, and I have documentation of that. You have to understand, I started out as a solar advisor at Apricot when it wasn't even the opportunity that it is today. There was no weekly overrides. It was quarterly. You know, there was actually no self-gen. We started out as a marketing company, and I put in 12, 18-hour days, and I made less money than what some of our solar advisors are making today. 21-year-old solar advisors making $10,000 a week, every week, going out there knocking doors, putting up sales that lead to installs. You know, the opportunity today is the best it's ever been, and you should truly, truly humble yourself and take a look at Apricot. The only reason why you can't rock a $90,000 watch if you want, or buy your parents a $99,000 a Ferrari the same day you buy your CEO one, the only reason is your ego, EGO, edging God out. You have to be open to other possibilities and other ways in order for those possibilities and ways to be open to you. If you don't believe it's possible, if you want to dismiss it by making an excuse for someone else's success or calling them a trust fund baby, then you will stay in the current world you're in, which is literally sucking up to your regional or VP and saying whatever you think they want you to say and never making the kind of money they make.
Exactly.
Whereas I started out as a solar advisor, and I have guys right now starting out as solar advisors that could never become $1 million earners in the Redline model, that will literally peel off millions of dollars a year in commissions at Apricot, in overrides with quality of life and with security. Nobody's gonna come in and be a co-partner of an office. Nobody's gonna come in and change this commission structure, which by the way, comes from financial services. So we already know that hundreds of billions of dollars has been ran through this, and it's already paying individuals 30 million a year, 20, 10 million a year, Deca millionaires coming out of this commission plan per year. So many, like thousands of $1 million a year earners, and of course, tens of thousands of six-figure earners. So I would encourage you to, number one, run from the red line because it's a broken model. Number two, humble yourself enough to take a look at a company like Apricot and to see value in being part of something bigger than just yourself. See value in leveraging our brand and leveraging some of the marketing dollars in the right markets, and see how you can contribute and add value. Because as we march to $1 billion, the opportunity is insane. You know, it's literally, this is the march to $1 billion. After that, guys, it's the hockey stick.
Exactly.
When we start doing tens of billions, you know, there will be an Apricot plane. Bri and I will be flying into different markets, and there will be thousands of people waiting for the opportunity.
Bingo.
Right? And we will be peeling off 10 million a year, 10 million a year. We will have multiple $1 million earners.
That's correct.
Where will you be? You know about solar now. You know about a little company called Apricot. Are you actually looking at it? Are you actually asking yourself why $1 million earner in a Redline model left and came to this? You know, even if he got screwed over from the company he was in, he could have taken a sign-in bonus and gone to 12 other legacy type companies. They're all out there. That's all there is. Why did he choose Apricot? Why did he come here for free? Why has he paid and invested in his business to be here?
And that the answer to that is simple. This is something that's a real challenge, right? You're gonna have to ask yourself, do you want to invest now or invest later? Solar is the best opportunity out there, in my opinion, period, okay? If you look at solar as a whole, look at it like this beautiful little nest egg you're building for yourself. Now, if you take some of that nest egg and reinvest it into the growth of your future opportunity, you're a smart business owner. If you take the opportunity right now, which is better than it's gonna be 5 years from now, better than it's gonna be 10 years from now, it's the best it's gonna be. And you take that little bit of a nest egg and use it to go on vacation or buy a nice car or whatever, and you didn't make the investment when it was the best time to make it, what would you think about yourself then? You would be like, I'm an idiot for doing this. I'm literally an idiot for wasting my money, right? When I needed to invest my money. Well, guess what? You don't have to invest your money here. You just need to invest your time. If you invest your time at Apricot, you can out-earn me. You can out-earn him. I can give you a better opportunity coming to Apricot than you can get anywhere else because I can offer you the same that I had. And all you have to do is be the cream that rises to the top. Think about that. How is that not more powerful than any of the best Redlines in the world? Someone willing to teach you how to do the game better than no one's ever done it is saying you can out-earn them, and you're gonna think about it? Come on, child, please.
I think we could go on forever.
Yeah.
Hopefully you guys watch this video, rewatch it, pray on it, meditate, and if you're already at Apricot, then you should probably watch it too and just rejoice that you're in the best place in the best company. See you guys at the top or from the top. Weezy out.
Yep.